doing both. Fuck it. We're live.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to
Hi.
the Lost Souls Guild meeting number 1 of, I don't fucking know how many of these shits we're doing.
At least one.
Precisely 13.
Exactly 5.
We need 13 to discuss everything.
Yeah, after the 13th meeting, we just disband.
Yep, I'm just
We gotta use them wisely.
We'll, yeah, we can't hit 14. If we hit 14, then it's like, well, wrong game. Anyways.
Wrong game.
Yeah.
Has to be odd numbers.
Alright, so I didn't really structure this, but that's okay. I just was like, you know, we need to do this at least once and have everyone, like, together to, like, talk about shit.
Holy shit, he's on the chandelier.
Yeah, I've been up here for, like, 10 minutes. How have you not noticed this?
DV, get down from there. That's dangerous.
Wait,
You might be drunk.
I can't see it.
No, it's ridiculous.
And then Quappy is here in spirit. He's spirit walking as a druid, doing some...
Yeah, I'm a wisp right now.
doing some druid dashing right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pulling up in my bear form, looking for parking.
So
I told you there's no parking in Stormwind.
we are...
You're gonna have to make room for me.
This has, like, been a long project that we have been doing. This is 2 waves of people that have joined over the past... Has it been half a year?
We started out in January, didn't we?
Yeah, so it's been half a year already.
God.
And none of us hit
God damn,
60 yet.
Senpai.
I'm so proud of us. We're too busy with fucking alts. Anyways, so I just wanted to talk about some key points here, and, like, get everyone's thoughts, get everyone on the same page, and just discuss our goals as a guild in the first place. I think an important thing is to just even mention what our end goal would be. Because
Start from
it's
the
like,
beginning, because I was kidnapped.
well, we're just right now talking about what is our end goal as a guild? What is, like, what would you all want as our, like, primary objective?
Rage.
I was
I
kidnapped
want
into
to
this
rage.
guild. I was kidnapped into this guild.
Don't worry about it. Anyways.
Yeah. As it stands right now in Classic, the end game is just raiding. That's what it is, and that's what everybody gears up for.
And that's another point to mention, too, because it's like, I know technically there's probably PvP endgame, but I'm gonna assume Chaos could answer some questions about PvP.
Okay, so if you're talking PvP, so
I was
right
expecting
now,
you to just say don't. I'm gonna be real.
No. Well, no. Okay, so, like, I'm actually this is me being the serious. I'm going to actually, like, stop dancing to be the serious for this one, which is because, like, so I can actually say it. So, like,
Get the zoom in.
if you're thinking for PvP, you're gonna have to do the only battleground where you're really gonna get any form of, like, actual players is probably Ultric Valley. And if you want to push up your rank to get, like, rewards from that, rank 14 right now is on a really rough spot because, like, this is speaking from, like, my horde fucking high warlord side. The people that I've been trying to push for rank 14 off of AV weekends, because there are weekends for that every, like, 3rd weekend. It cycles between 3 of the battlegrounds. Is very rough in terms of games lasting very long. And even on the AV weekends, it's still kind of rough because, like, there was this initial period at the beginning where everyone was grinding their ass off for it, and all those people are now done grinding for it. So there's now a lot of people who like to, like, turtle or extend games that are in those games. So my biggest recommendation is if you're going for PvP, there are some good rewards on it depending on your class. Like if you want to ask like what your class, like depending on your class, if the gear in there is good for you or not, it really just depends on what spec you're playing, and yeah, it's just not. And 11 is a good spot for if you want to get the PvP experience, but also get some good rewards out of it. Because not only will you get your 100% mount for like 80 gold, because it's super inexpensive. For the PvP mounts are super inexpensive, but you'll also get a good blue set for Prebis if you're going into raid, for the most part, depending on your spec.
I will say
that is my recommendations on PvP.
I know for some people that are kind of newer, there's probably more that could be explained about that. But ultimately, PvP exists. It's certainly interesting.
Yeah. The reality is
If that is a choice you grind, sorry, Tommy. I was just gonna say, if this is a choice of yours, you're gonna be sweating and like playing PvP, the same battleground, like all week, like 8 hours a day kind of shit. Personally, not worth.
That's if you're going for rank 14, if I'm being honest. That is rank 14 to basically I'm not too I don't know how the gear is for holy paladins for fucking PvP gear, but I know of my class that that PvP gear is like BIS until fucking AQ. So like I'm not fucking grinding for rank 14 again, especially on Alliance. I'm probably if I'm doing anything at all on this character, I would do 11, because I don't want to go through the hell that is rank 14 a second time, and with it being even worse than before.
Yeah.
So
basically, what I know is all I did was spend a couple hours getting to rank 4. I got myself a mount and I got myself an offhand, and that was all I really needed. For my shaman.
There are
fuck
some.
That shit, I'm out.
No. Like there are some really good rewards you can get from just hitting Exalted with the Frostwolf clan, like the rep rewards from fucking from them are very good. Like
Or rather, it wouldn't be the Frostwolf clan, because that's the Horde side. It would be.
Oh yeah, I'm so used to calling it that.
What's the Alliance side?
It would be Stormpike Guard.
Stormpike Guard, yeah.
If you're so these are the I'm gonna link the these are some of the rewards that you can be able to get from John Julio's, Don Rodrigo's, if you're a caster, limited shield, that Unstoppable Force.
While you get that settled.
No, I got it here.
Oh.
These are some of the rewards you can be able to get from doing. There's some of it's considered BIS gear, or pre-BIS at least in terms of going into raids. There's an offhand for every single spec of mage. So if you're going mage, then you could get a really good offhand for your for going into raids. And Don Julio's is a fantastic melee ring. There's also good shields for tanks, and a caster ring as well too, and a really good healing offhand as well. Those are most of the rewards that you can be able to get from just getting what is it called? My brain's trying to work. Just getting the rep rewards from
Right.
Yeah.
I did also want to mention, because PvP is an end goal, you've also got, like, raiding is an end goal, which there are, at least up to right now, what is it? There's Bolton Core, Onyxia's Lair, Zul'Gurub, and Blackwing Lair.
Yeah, BWL. Yeah, so and
there's
AQ is coming out in like a couple weeks. Well, it's the war effort starting in a couple weeks, and we don't know when the GOG's going to be rung to open up AQ 20 and 40.
And that's definitely something to talk about too.
So, as it stands right now with our smaller guild, unless we want to pug an entire 40-man raid, we can definitely handle smaller things like the 10-man like Ubers, which isn't technically a raid, but it's like a 10-man dungeon. It's like good.
Some of us
practice
are definitely
for-
going to want to do it for gear anyway.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then you've got the 20-man Zul'Gurub and AQ 20 when that comes out, which are good.
And I will
What
have
is-
a whole point on the rating scene. We'll let Chaos have the floor for a moment, though.
I want to say this in the nicest way possible. Scarab Lord is both A, not worth it, and B, a very fucking, that's going to take, not only does that take multiple, that takes doing multiple raids, with you getting prio on what the, on the solo drop that drops for each quest line for completing those raids in order to be able to get the quest items for that long quest line. Like we discussed this in our actual like in our Horde sister guild, and we all decided it's not worth it because we just know someone who's buying gold is going to be getting the Scarab Lord, and we've just come to that realization. So we'd rather just the best thing I can recommend for the war effort is to make as much money off it as you can.
That's
Save
another idea.
materials. Save materials, wait for the war effort, and then dump it all for tons of cash.
And then other end goals would essentially just be, for some people, it might just be just hitting 60 in the first place, or trying out not just this, but maybe other versions of WoW, like Seasons of Discovery, the Hardcore.
Season of Discovery is dead, sadly, though. Since they
Yeah.
announced they're not working on it anymore, the player numbers have fucking tanked.
That is unfortunate.
I am going to say, we've kind of discussed this a little bit in our guild. I personally want to play Mist's Classic because I would just want to play Brewmaster Monk again because that's my favorite tank spec. And the pre-patch for it is out right now, I believe.
No, it's July 1st.
Oh, July 1st.
Yep.
And I did want to bring up stuff with Scarab Lord later, but I'll save it for right now because I do want to kind of like segment these a bit. But my whole point of bringing all this up is trying to kind of gauge where everyone was, like, what they want as an end goal, so we could kind of, like, figure out where, get on the same page with everybody. And I think that's important so we, like, because maybe some people here are just, like, I know some people here are just still trying the game in the first place and may not even have an end goal in mind right now. But I want to make sure that's all brought up and like everyone has like a something said on this, you know.
Personally, I'm looking to do raids. I know we've
Same.
talked about doing raids and how we wanted to do it as a guild, and I figured at the very least we could maybe get like we could probably figure something out. But trying to find another guild to group with or something of the like might be something we can do.
And I'll have a whole
But
thing on that too, because I think that's
as long as
important.
we can actually get enough people to raid. It really does depend how many people are interested and are willing to try it, and willing to be to sit through the entire thing because it's going to be a long road.
Yeah.
Likely.
Well, yeah, for rating, the thing with me is that I don't know how the only experience I have is with in terms of looking for roles and trying to find people for raids is Horde side. So I'm not sure what the logistics are for like Paladin roles as well as just like well yeah
That-
what's up?
Honestly, if you want to leave that to me, I can probably figure it out. I've been doing a lot of digging on my own side, learning about that sort of stuff. I'm sure I can figure out no problem. But it's also something we got to keep in mind too is I don't think we're going to be going with a set rotation of these are the classes we need because a lot of people are going to be playing for the first time. I think we should keep out of one doing like meta specs. Like I'm doing a fucking a paladin tank. That's not exactly. I don't think I'm gonna raid as it unless I can get away with it. But I think there's gonna be people who aren't gonna be able to get like,
I feel like the only
aren't gonna fit into that weave just because we have too many of something or too few of something. I don't think we should kick people out because they can't, or make them level up another class or something. I think we should kind of just play it by ear with that sort of thing.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I
I'm
feel-
just like, what's up?
I was gonna say, I feel like the only awkward points would literally just be Balanced Druid and Ret Paladin because of how fucked they are. Otherwise, I feel like, yeah, it's basically fair game for everybody.
Yeah, everything's kind of niche in some regards. I'm gonna go and go over this real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. Cass, you were gonna say something?
I was just like in terms of the raiding scene, I'm just like, yeah, no, we don't have really any established like people to be able to raid with, so we would have to either like completely pug the entire raid, or we'd have to and run it and that involves dealing with the random people, which can be a bit rough. Or we could try and like find someone else's guild that we could be able to work with to be able to do raids too as well.
Yeah. And I feel like it's probably important to just discuss. I still want to know what everyone's aiming for end goal, what their plan is with this game. So, like, if everyone wants to kind of, like, bring up their own little point, that would be good. Like, Quappy said he wants to raid. I also would like to raid. Chaos and Tommy, I know you both like PvP and raid on Horde. So, I'm kind of aware of that already.
Yeah.
Cat? Is Cat?
Yeah,
oh,
I would say reaching 60, and I want to try raids. I mean, this is my first time playing the game. I think it'd be fun to experience.
Will say though, I am not a PvP person. I don't like doing PvP.
And that's fine.
So
Yeah, it's totally fine.
So I'm not sure how well I'm going to like raids. If it's like
PvP is not raids. That's a different
Yeah,
thing.
PvP. Yeah. Raiding is PvE content.
Yeah, no, Cass, that's not what PvP is.
And as
It's like those dungeons, but scaled up to 40 fucking players.
Yeah.
Or 20, depending on the raid you're doing.
Right.
Loof, what is your?
I'm mostly in Cat's boat, really. Like, level 60 is like kind of like my like short-term goal. Anything after that is, I guess just kind of like a fuck it, we ball type of situation.
All right, Ira. I know you have to type yours. I can ask Grugles as you're doing that as well. If you have any.
You want to read that one out so I can hear it?
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I don't have a very fixed idea of what I want just yet, but I think, you know, just trying things out, like, this is my first time, I think raid would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Raiding is fun once you get into it, and experiencing the raids for the first time is a lot of fun as a group. We can definitely start with like the smaller stuff, like, you know, doing like 10-man Ubers and then doing 20-man ZG and AQ20 when that comes out.
Those are a lot more manageable, and you can still get some good, like, there's some blues in there that rival raid gear in terms of their stats and what you can be able to get out of those. Not to mention there are some really good enchants that you can be able to get from ZG, and and trinkets as well, because like, you know how there's always a fucking head drop for like into bosses, except for Rag for some reason, and for the end of ZG there's a head drop. It's called the Heart of a Car. That is the trinket that you can get for that is complete dog water for fucking for fucking melee, but there's a really disgusting caster / healing trinket that can be able to be that is on fucking
yeah. Also
drops from there that can help our healers and our casters. So that's a really good and so ZG would definitely be worth doing because there's some good purples and some good blues that could head from there.
I think
Also, ZG has
Right.
its own special enchantments that you can get.
I think basically for people that like are new, raiding is essentially the big. We'll need 40 people for it. It's gonna be a big thing.
Well, you only need 20 for ZG.
Yeah, ZG and I think the lair, right?
Oni lair? Oh, are you talking about Oni?
Yeah.
Oni can be done. Oni can be done with like 25 to 30 people if they know what they're doing.
Okay.
Because like it really depends on the how geared the people you're bringing are, and if they know what they're doing with the fight. That's really how Oni works.
I don't know if Ira just got back. I don't know, but I wanted to make sure I got Ira's point on what her end goal is in all this as well. If you can you hear me? Oh, we cannot hear you. Oh,
thankfully,
your
one
mic
thing I
is
wanted to
moving,
say.
but we cannot hear you. Maybe that's just.
I'm so happy I don't have to buy a fucking pair of fucking Edge Masters on this fucking warrior. Holy shit.
Tragedy.
So I'll feel bad if you're here to help. You know what? Fair. Topin Cass, I'm gonna assume your answer is probably similar to Grugel, since you're kind of just new. Tide, I imagine, also as well, but I'll kind of let you all say your own piece. I'm not gonna speak for you.
Yeah, no, similar to Grugel. I'm here to mainly just kind of get bearings across and assist where I can. I don't have a strict end goal in mind. I never really do when it comes to RPGs like this.
I think at the very least, hitting max level and getting to experience at least some of the end game content would be, ideal.
Yeah, I don't know where exactly. Thing is, though, I don't know exactly what end game content even is. In this context.
Rating, yeah.
Is it just rating?
PvP is more of a side thing, but rating is basically, rating is basically just dungeons like cranked up way higher. So if you enjoy the dungeons and want a little bit more out of it, you'd probably enjoy rating. Rating tends to have a lot more stakes on it compared to dungeons. But they can be very fun if you're willing to sit down with them for a little while.
And Ira has a point too in that post.
Speaking of dungeons, Topin almost accidentally got into one himself.
Oh yeah. Attunement is okay. Like,
I do want to read this off for Quappy, since he can't see it. Ira said, our primary goal should be teaching 60 dungeons to people. Once everyone has cleared every dungeon once, we as a guild can do UBRS. Attunement is also necessary for Oni, Blackwing Lair, etc.
Okay, let me explain attunement, because attunement's really fucking simple, especially on Alliance. From what I've heard, that Oni attunement is, compared to Horde side, is a fucking cakewalk. Which is hilarious, because like typically when you're on Horde, you have to do multiple runs of both lower Blackrock and upper Blackrock, and some other things on the side too as well. What the hell is going on here?
Mage quest.
Okay.
I was just like, I don't want them killing Grugels or anybody immediately.
Okay, as I was saying, so attunement.
Oh, are they gonna? Oh, okay.
Attunement for MC is really easy. It's just a single full run of a rip cat. A single full run of what is it called? Fucking MC attunement is just a single full run of BRD. Yeah, BRD, thank you. And you have to just make it and click a rock and then you're done. BWL is just a single full run of Ubers. You just have to make sure you beat up the stupid orc that dropped the envelope, and then you can attune yourself to BWL pretty easily. The thing is though, with BWL, I think that one is significant. That rare is significantly harder to pug and be able to accomplish compared to like Molten Boar, or that's the meme name I give it. It's currently the hardest dungeon of the game. I would give that to AQ 40 when that comes out. But yeah.
Yep.
So
what's up?
I guess since I have an idea, I feel like raiding is going to be a common thing that people are going to want to do. So since we're talking about it, we have to kind of figure out what can be done for it, because we're kind of late. Do we wait for TBC or do we push hard and like get our guild like geared up as soon as possible so we can jump right into it?
Alliance side, I'm thinking that it's a bit too late. That's what I think. Alliance side. If you're talking in another sense, then that's a different story. But for Alliance side, it might be a bit too late. I'm depending on where we're at and where we're able to get at when we hit 60. You know?
Okay. So here's what I'm thinking. Right. Obviously, I don't know how easy it is to get like people at the point for those older raids once they've already been put through. But I feel like because TBC is supposed to be launching around, I don't know, around spring next year, I believe. Something around that.
I think the leaks say February.
Thinking, yeah. So yeah. And people think it's going to be a little bit later. Yeah. I think that what we could do is we could set. I feel like we could easily have everyone who wants to be at level 60 at level 60 near the end of the year. I think at that point we can start trying to. Obviously, a lot of us will already be level 60 at that point, but I feel like that's a very. And maybe we could go lower, but I feel like that's an easy goal for everyone to hit.
I think if we want to raid before then, that's not going to be enough time. I really don't think that's enough time.
Well, and let me explain something too. So like there's also a few factors to keep in mind in terms of also the raids that are being done and the reasons that they're being done. So if I was to explain this, so Molten Core at this point has become kind of a farm raid at this point. There are only a few pieces in that raid that are used in that are current abyss in terms of what they are, and B very targeted by the people who are going in there to try and get those drops. So if we're what raid we decide to do or what we're able to do vastly depends on who we're able to bring and what like the end goal for going to that raid is. Because like the only reason that like we're like in my horde guild with us being geared enough as we are, the only reason we're typically doing MC is like to farm for bindings or to get the big drops off of Rack, because Rack has a lot of stuff that a lot of the stuff that he has is not outclassed by any gear that is from either that only gets outclassed by either BWL gear or is BIS. So like it just depends on like what the things that we're raiding for what items that we want to raid for, because so we have to also keep in mind the people who are wanting to come raid with us and what they want out of the raids when we're going with them too. That's the thing I have to put out.
Right. No, I mean personally, I just want to do them. I don't even really care about the gear. Obviously, if we need to farm it, it's like okay, sure, but
you just got a point too.
I more want to do these for the experience of doing them. So I've never done them before, and I know pretty much all of us are in the same boat.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just keeping in mind the other person, because we're gonna because there's 10 of us here. We're a fourth of the raid, and the other 3 halves are probably either doing this for pixels, or they've already done this raid like 50 like 20, 30 times, and they're just here, and they're just going through the motions. That's the reason why I was just like, that's why the reason I had to bring it up, because I know that's because we're going to be doing it with a lot of other people if we're raiding on here that we don't know, and that like we don't and that we haven't been doing content with.
I have suggestions for this, but I do want to wait. I did notice Tide is also back, I think, so I did want to make sure I got an answer from Tide as well on what Tide wants out of this experience as well.
Honestly, just get the level 60 and go from there. Honestly.
So basically, that is kind of like the general consensus.
Experience the game because I'm new to this game. I wanted to play it when I was like a kid, but like never had the chance.
I was kind of assuming a lot of Wave 2 would be on the same page with that, but I did want to ask and be sure. So,
yeah.
In my opinion, I think getting to 60 first and then starting with the like easier stuff, like doing 10-man Ubers, getting people geared up from that, and then moving on to like the 20-man raids with all the catch-up gear is going to be our best bet.
And 20 people is a lot easier to fill out than 40. I think we could feasibly wait, like if we ended up getting in kind of late, I think we could feasibly get a group for the 20-man raids. I think that's really, obviously that requires everyone to fully commit, so that's something to consider, but I feel like if we get enough people, because we have enough people in the guild that I think if everyone were to commit, we'd have enough people, but even if we didn't, we could probably get like some random pubber, one or two, and do like a semi-guild run where we fill out some extra slots from people who need the raids, or just want to do them, because we'll only have like 2 spots we need to fill at that point or something like that.
Me and Tommy have the most experience, me and Tommy have the most experience with classic raiding, so I would be more than happy to take over like raid lead in terms of doing in terms of handling mechanics and callouts, as well as being able to, and I would have Tommy be loot master because he also has loot master experience as well.
I do want to jump to that, but I will wait. We'll let you kind of.
I just want to, I just want to let you know because I said like because I've done ZG so many fucking times. Like I know that fucking rating it out basically, and I'm able to make sure that everybody can be able to stay on track and be able to, and we can be able to get it done in a reasonable amount of time without having it taking super long.
Yeah. Ira also mentioned 10-man UBRS is a good idea for a goal. I still want to go further than that. But yeah, I think we are kind of bumping into a thing, and I've been wanting to discuss this. It came across the wrong way when I pinged about it last time. I didn't want people to assume that was immediately what we were doing. I wanted to get thoughts on it, and Quappy has shared, and I have talked about it. We've been talking about the Alliance versus Horde thing that we've been going on for a little bit. Quappy's had a great point about it, but actually, honestly, yeah, Quappy could probably pick up from here, because I know Quappy had a really good point, and he could probably put it better than I did.
If you want to skip this right now, just because I'm in the store right now and I can't really talk.
Oh shit.
I'll be out the door in like just 5 minutes at the most. So just give me like a couple of minutes and I'll be good.
We can table this until he leaves. Is there anything else you want to discuss too? What's up?
Wait, what's up? Oh, sorry.
No, continue.
Okay. My hardcore warrior dies BWL. She'll be a great main tank for Horde side. That's true. I have plans for Classic as well as TBC and Wrath, but I've been kind of waiting on that. I guess we'll reshelf this though. I guess we could discuss future waves of people, because I've kind of been noticing, because I was like, I know Wayne's in or out. Loof could confirm that, considering.
Well, did you want me to say my piece in terms of Horde side and what's going on with what we have over there?
I wanted to make sure Quappy heard that too. I mean, Quappy might still hear it since he's in the store, but I wanted to make sure everyone had their fair share and like fair shake and get to hear both sides fully.
Yeah, I gotcha. I'm waiting to hear what Quappy wanted to say, because I haven't heard. I don't know what you guys are cooking in terms of the Horde versus Alliance debate, and I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah, but Loof could probably answer with weigh-in.
I would have to like ask again. Last time I asked, we ended up getting distracted and not talking about it.
Because if I pull up the, hold on one second, because I have it on my, I have. Let me pull up the Google Docky. All right. Because I know we've had a few people dropping out. Which is I kind of expected that from some people in Phase 1, like...
WoW's it for everybody. It's perfectly understandable.
Yeah.
Especially Classic. Classic is definitely a niche taste.
I know, like, Wayne is gone, potentially. I know Ryan is probably with you guys. Keat, don't know what
he's been playing other games. We're just letting him do his own thing. He's playing other games. We've kind of, like... understood like if he's doing things that like are off, that's perfectly fine. We're still doing our thing on Horde.
I know Keat and Anthony kind of both left or whatever.
Yeah, they're also taking breaks. Well, Keat's taking a break. Yeah, Anthony kind of
Kawhi, it wasn't for Kawhi, Kashino, Fridge, quote, just not for them, which is fine. And it kind of prompts me to think that like. Because right now, I know we have technically more than 10 people, but if we do ever consider, like, raiding, like, we've got, what, 3 more people joining this weekend, I think, with Zach, and then Matt and Shoujo are going to be joining. So we'll have, like, 3 more people at least in this wave that I'm considering a wave 3. Not right away, but... I've kind of had the thought that if we start doing, like, invites, I can't be in this server anymore, because I have asked literally every person that's in this server if they want to join. They have either given it a chance or declined. So, there is no one else in this server that I could possibly think to ask, because they've already been asked. So if we were to do future waves of invitations, they would have to be from outside this, like, this group server, and it could be just about anybody, really, I guess. I don't know about how we'd go about it. Viewers could be interesting, but also could go poorly if I'm keeping it real, considering not the average viewer, but you guys know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, all of your viewers, you know.
I love my
They
viewers.
have to prove themselves.
Krugels is... and Ira's got a good point, too. But it's like... if we're open to expanding, I can ask some people.
Hold on, I was gonna ask Quappy, are you out of the store yet?
No.
No.
You know,
unlucky.
Hold on one second. Of course, someone called me now.
All right, sorry about that. Yeah, they had a remake for my order, so I had to sit there and wait on it.
Y'all chill, Quappy. So what were you gonna discuss in terms of the Horde Alliance thing? In terms of that, go on.
So I had a pretty like I'm sorry. Let me get my car. I'm of the opinion that at this point I feel like it's a little late to be switching over to Horde, but because I know just disregarding everyone else who probably could switch with a lot less commitment, but me, GB, Cat, Soul, Lufia, we all have a whole bunch of hours already on these characters. Along with me, I've got I've got a bunch of alts that I've been leveling just for either the sake of trying them out, as raid extras should we need them, or getting people caught up. But the major thing I was thinking is because, like, come TBC, I would be more than willing to try and switch over to Horde if everyone wants to do that. That being said, I think it should be considered, because one of the things that we talked about before when you guys were trying to get us over to Horde is like, oh, you guys should come and raid with us, and like that'd be cool. But are you guys actually able to do that? Are you actually able to get us like a raid spot and get us? Because I know you guys are already involved in a guild. I wasn't sure how capable you guys are actually of getting us, and this is like a genuine question, not me like attacking or anything. This is like genuine. You would be able to get us in, and this would be like a major, like we would be able to like do the, because I think we were talking about it. Worry being is a having to sit on like the sidelines.
Guildies are prio when it comes to doing raids. Like, I've like when we're doing raids in terms of like in signups for with us working with our sister guilds and us as well, we are guild signups are prio to people that aren't in the guilds. And
okay, so you guys actually get like outside help in your that does make it a lot more feasible. Gotcha.
Can you accommodate like this whole crew moving over? And
like
more
so
is the problem that I'm considering, because that's kind of the thing. Do we have? How's Crappie put it better than I did, honestly? But
it was. We also have to worry about like
starting over.
But also, well, I mean, I'm going into what you were saying. If we were to swap over, so like let's say we have like 5 people who are interested in ratings. I think at the most we'll have like, or at the least we'll have like you, me, Cat, Soul, Lufia probably. At least that's what I thought initially, because that's like our main group. And maybe 5 would be easy to get in. But then we have to consider like, you know, getting more than that. Maybe like so how many people do we have in this call? Is it like 11 or something?
Yeah.
I can't see right now.
Yeah, there's like 11.
Yeah, would you actually be able to get, like, would all of us be able to get in if we all wanted to?
As I've said, like most of the like there's a good blend in terms of like what is it called, like guildies that are part of our sister guild, and people that are not part of the guild but like raid with us because they're pubs. But if like again we're able to there's sometimes people that cannot make it, and there's also people who in our guild that if I'm able to vouch for you, me and Tommy are able to vouch for you guys. There are people in our guild that'll be more than happy to give up raid spots to be able to let you guys to be able to join us, so you can be able to experience raiding and have fun. Like, we have people that are more than happy to, for people who I will vouch for you guys, because you guys are super chill and hang out with me, and you're all are friends of mine. That they'll be more than happy to give raid spots to you guys to be able to come and get geared on Horde tunes and be able to enjoy raiding on Horde side.
Gotcha. I just wanted to make sure that was cleared up, because I know you talked about wanting to get us in, but my worry is that we would level up all these characters for Horde and you wouldn't actually be able to guarantee anything, and it was just hey, it was like you didn't put all too much thought into it or anything, which I mean I totally get if that would have been the case, because I mean we all want to play on the same faction. The only thing is, though, like, yeah, for some of us, we have put a whole bunch of hours into characters. I mean, because we've been going for about 6 months now, and a lot of us have put a lot of time into our alliance characters. I'm willing to give it some more thought once we get into TBC, because my main gripe is Paladin. I want to play a Paladin. But at the same time, it's also like I put a bunch of hours into my druid. Like I have it somewhere in the WoW chat that on my hours on both my paladin and my druid, it's a ridiculous amount of hours. And I feel like I'm sure you can understand seeing that all go to waste because we decided to switch servers. Because I mean, it's not like these characters are really going to get used much past that, you know. If we switch.
Yeah.
Like we said, as it stands right now, it's probably a little too late to just swap factions. So I think we should just keep going on these characters if we want to get anything done. You're always more than welcome though if you want to try Horde, just for like the fun of it, to swap over and join our guild. But it probably should still be on the Alliance side.
TBC would probably be the best time because Blood Elves would be added, and plenty of people that are hesitant about Horde would suddenly have a reason to. But some people still have Alliance preferences. It's not a very easy situation to be in.
I got you. Just let me and Tommy are always here. If you want to let me know. Just let me or Tommy know if any of you guys need it. If any of y'all are making Horde tunes, we're more than happy to invite them to the Horde Guild and get you geared up with 14 slaughters and help you out with getting your footing started on playing Horde side. Just let us know. That's all. That's the thing I put out. We can keep continuing characters here, but we got that path open for you guys if you guys want to get that kind of taste too.
Yeah.
Right.
Jamie, I do want to say that I feel a little hesitant with Horde because I don't know if it's going to be harder on that side.
It would be
not really.
It'd be about the same, literally.
There's differences, but that's really all it is differences.
So it's like Alliance, it's like we're kind of on a time crunch, and do we even have enough to make it work? For Horde, it's a matter of us making sure we have the room in Chaos's guild, essentially, and like everyone essentially having to start over from scratch, which is a very big move.
Right.
Again, that's not an easy decision. That's why I was like, I wanted to make sure everyone kind of, yeah.
I would technically, I wouldn't say, thing is though, I wouldn't technically say it's starting from scratch because we do have a lot of resources, and if need come to be, since I am rank 14 on a 60, I'm doing this for current guildies that are in there, and I'll extend it to people. I am more than happy to run people through dungeons if they need gear, or if they need doing stuff through there on my fucking 60 rank 14. I am more than happy to do that.
Being said, though, I do think that it's going to be a big ask to ask people to, like, because, I mean, you guys also have a guild that you're raiding with. Too. I think there's also going to be a worry that people are going to have to rush, or they're not going to be able to experience enough of the game if they don't get help. Because, I mean, I've been enjoying playing WoW, just kind of going slowly and playing at my own pace with any of the people I'm leveling with or any of the solo characters I've leveled. I've tried doing like rested XP guides and stuff, and that's been interesting, but I can't imagine trying to like optimize the leveling experience. I don't want to force people for their first playthrough to try and rush through the game so that you can catch up the raid.
I don't want to do that either. It's just offering I just offer that because I know people typically, that's like a paid service that people sometimes do. I'm more than happy to do it for free for people who are guildies to help out with, and just to help them if they're, because I know the like mid levels can be a bit like can drag a bit. That's why I offer it to not only help with like better gear for questing, but just to be helpful towards guildies, because it helps alleviate a bit of the leveling experience, because we also get to like talk and like do stuff while we're fucking around and grinding through dungeons, and not only doing that, but also the quests that are from the dungeons. If you have a hard time finding queues, it's kind of like a thing I can do to help alleviate some of the issues I can, if there's not enough people for group content.
Yeah.
Right. I might be willing to switch over, but obviously I don't think our main focus should be Horde. I think it's a little too late for that.
I would only recommend it as like an alt situation, and an alt situation if you want to see how it is over there and like want to experience Horde raiding. Yeah. And not Horde, but Horde leveling, and like and if you're able to get high enough to be able to help and join raids. It just depends on how you guys feel about it. And again, as I said, my Bui is always making fucking 14 slaughters. You have 4. We will get those into your hands as soon as possible if you are in our if you swap hard side and enjoy your fucking stuff. I would make 16 slaughters, but they're very much more expensive to make.
So you're
Right.
saying I think we should put it to a vote blue aliens or mad addicts. But also I'm just kind of sitting here thinking like, I feel like that is kind of a thing. It's like, what? I know for the newer people, they're kind of like, hey, it's early on, they probably don't mind as much, but that might still be a kick. Like, I don't know how people.
Right.
Like,
I mean, I don't want to make that assumption for them because at the same time, when I was sitting at level 20, I wouldn't have wanted to just switch over after I put. I mean, when you're first playing, hitting level 20 is impactful. Like that's your third of the game. My technicality, anyway.
So it's like I kind of want to hear the like other spectrum of like the newer recruits and how they feel, or like Luffy. I don't think has been very active in that conversation. Like outside of like right now, obviously.
I think he said his piece in the past before.
In terms of Horde vs Alliance.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much in the same boat. Like I feel like we're probably we're kind of committed to the path of Alliance, at least on our main characters. If Horde stuff happens, it would probably be alt. I do have a mage over there that I haven't touched in like 4 months, but Chaos has been dragging me by the scruff of my neck to play. And or B when TBC drops. I feel like that would be maybe a good time to look at doing stuff on that side as well. But for the time being, we're kind of on this path.
Yeah.
I think we're all agreed on that point.
But like,
honestly, I don't think we should really. Oh, my bad.
No. I was about to ask you, Topin, and Cass, and Tide about it. So that's perfect timing. you
I'm so in
as
sync
well.
right now. But yeah, I think we should really just keep it how it is. I don't really feel like switching it up.
I agree.
I think we could hold it to a vote come TBC. I'm probably still going to be a little bit more devoted to Alliance, but that's because I have a million characters on Alliance.
So this will be a vote for a later time. I think that's a good thing to move on from then. I think that's kind of settled. Because I know there's plenty of us here that have their biases. I know Katz wants to play Draenei and Blood Elf at some point. I know.
I want to play a Draenei. Honestly, Draenei looks really fucking cool. They're the racials, even if they're not very impactful, they look cool.
Surprisingly, I'm not like Surprisingly, compared to this time around, I'm actually more jazzed to play Blood Elf than fucking Draenei. So shocking. The furry prefers Blood Elves over Draenei. But yeah, no, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just not really.
I'm more than willing to switch come TBC.
Man, I don't know how to feel about that. Draenei are pretty fucking cool, in my opinion. Their starting sound's like one of my favorites.
I wouldn't know anything about that, but I know their racial stuck out to me. So I'm like, oh, I get to buff people around me passively. That sounds awesome. I don't care if it's impactful. I want that.
So I say, at least
okay,
this
mute
point,
again.
I would say it's time to just kind of plan. Like, I feel like we need like a plan on like hitting 60 is a big one that we need to kind of plan around. I feel like wave 1, we've kind of had like 3 waves of characters that are like pushing and like all at the same time. I think we need to just kind of make that push to 60 at some point soon, because like having some people at 60 in the guild to kind of help out would be nice. I think if we're gonna get to reigning, we might need to do like a guild merger of sorts. Though when TBC comes around, if we stick Alliance, we'll have to make sure we can like cover ourselves still, if that makes sense. Because that
Right.
drops rating from 40 to 25 people. And that's like a big cutoff.
Truthfully, yeah, I was talking about TBC rating with GB a little bit, and something that I've seen that people do is they'll do like semi-guild raids where they are primarily filling out the guild or the raid with their guild, and any spots that they can't fill, they get like the pubbers.
That could always be a good and a bad, but
it can be. But I think realistically, I mean, because the difference is we either have the people or we don't. So
yeah. Because I don't know, with AQ dropping in July, it's like, kind of wish we were 60 to really take advantage of that, but it's like, we're not even at 60 yet, so it's like, that's kind of why I'm like, should we be pushing a little harder for that? Should we, like... So there's plenty of stuff to consider for that. I feel like we don't have enough information on any other alliance, like, guilds that we could even consider, like, collabing with, essentially. Outside of...
I think that's something for you and me to figure out at some point.
Yeah, that's kind of something to consider in the future. And then when we're talking about planning, obviously TBC and Wrath are going to come up too, because it's like, that's what is our plans after Classic. Essentially, once TBC comes out, then like whoever's sticking around, we got to kind of plan around that. If we're going to factor in stuff like Cataclysm, which I know some people will definitely drop the fuck off once Cataclysm hits. What'll change and what we'll have to change. I know in TBC, raid comp is infinitely more important. And we'll have to make sure we have, like, a varied cast, essentially. And then stuff like the Draenei, Blood Elves, Death Knights, when those all come around eventually, and who's going to be interested in those. But that's kind of more for future plans, but that's stuff to, like, consider and, like, have in the back of our minds, essentially, I would say.
Right, yeah.
I don't know if there's anything we can act on that, like, right now. It's like, I feel like, outside of, like, if you know you want to play something in TBC, you can consider leveling it, but if we end up switching Horde, that might be kind of pointless, too. So, it's like... we gotta figure some shit out. And again, that's why we're doing this in the first place.
Forget about TBC for now and just focus on what we've got going for here on Alliance.
Right. I think TBC is far enough away that we don't need to worry as much about it.
Cass disappeared. Probably DC'd.
Cass?
I got...
There. I need to be right back. So, I'll be right back.
What is your personal goal with Classic? I don't think anyone asked you. Like I said, I would like to get into raiding. I don't know if I'll continue past Wrath, but I want to push that whole... I almost called it a triology. It's like, yeah, sure.
Triology.
Because it's like, kind of a trilogy, kind of like...
Guys?
That's what most people consider it. Halo's a trilogy. Fight me on that.
Original WoW
it's got multiple games.
Sets, basically. Kata was kind of 2.0. Exactly. And I know once we hit that point, I feel like people that are... Like, even if we all stick around this whole time, all the way through Wrath, I feel like once Kata shows up, that's when people are going to start dipping, because it's very different. Yeah, and if anyone wanted to play it, they'd be playing now. I know Soul tried it, was like, I fucking hate it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even think that like they would be taking these servers to Kata. I'm not sure.
But there is also the point of if you start playing on like the current classic Kata servers that are live now, you're starting from scratch. Assuming these servers go to Kata, we're going to be at the beginning of the expansion, so we're not starting from zero.
I think we'll get to Wrath.
I was say I'd be shocked if we didn't go to Wrath. Wrath is considered the holy trinity of fucking WoW expansions.
Yeah.
After Wrath, I have no clue, but I know it's got to make it to Wrath.
I'm willing to try Kata if other people are, because I'm willing to. Because I mean, if people are getting into it, because I mean, realistically, it's. I've been able to balance WoW class. I've been able to balance WoW with Final Fantasy, which has been really my only concern starting out. If I enjoy Kata, I'll keep on playing it. But
the thing
honestly,
is,
like.
Also,
that's happening. That's often the very distant future, to be honest. That's
Yeah.
more than a year away.
That's a while away. Also, Ira says, "Do you really trust Blizz?" And my main response is, "I know they want money.
Lamau.
They want money. They want that money. They want that Wrath money.
Yeah.
They want that Wrath money.
They're going to make Wrath. I am certain of that.
They want that Death Knight money."
They want the Death Knight money.
So there's stuff to consider. I do think we need to make a push for 60, but I don't want to rush y'all in Wave 2 either. Like, y'all are just starting. Go at your own pace, but I will say for, like, the main, like, Wave 1 group, we should probably pick up the pace a little, too.
100%. Yeah, we've been kind of slacking lately.
Yeah, it probably doesn't help that Kat and I have, like, 3 different characters going on. We have like 5.
More, technically.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like, me and Tommy are like very like we're raiding every week and making sure to like help it. And not only am I
solo
like,
clear Dead Mines right now. You're sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm just explaining that why me and Tommy have been. It's been a bit rough for us to work on these students. It's because. Like, not only have we been, like, raiding every week on our Horde Alliance, on our Horde characters, but we've been, like, making sure to do, we're making sure to help, other people in terms of doing their content. And Tommy's also been trying to avoid burnout, which I perfectly respect by doing other things. And I've been putting in the elbow grease in terms of trying to help people with their leveling and get get more, of our guild, higher in levels and stuff. That's mainly why I've been kind of like trying to play this one when I can, but I've also been trying to farm out stuff for like because like we're trying to shoot for Thunder Furies on our fucking Horde tunes.
Oh, God.
And yeah, no, it's been rough. That's why I was saying it's like I've been putting in a lot of
PvP
fucking
rank.
Last time I checked my Horde character, I had like 1,200 hours on her.
Oof.
Like. Yeah, no, and that's the last time I checked. I could probably check this time, and it would probably be like another like 100 or 200. So yeah, that's what I've been going through. So apologies for not being able to push this one super high.
It's okay. I was a little concerned by the lack of communication about it, but as long as you're like completely forward about it, that's all I need to hear.
Yeah, and it's just and also main taking for guilds and trying to like maintain relationships between the sister guilds that we have is a lot of work. Tommy knows that I've been dealing with a lot of stuff in terms of that whole situation. Not only that, but also the drama that can come out from that kind of shit.
Yeah, and speaking of drama, I don't think there's anything to really mention there. Just kind of how drama would be dealt with, which I don't think it's going to be a big problem, but I want to keep it in mind.
This is a game about pixels. If you're gonna fucking throw a tissy fit about pixels, realize that you're throwing a shit fit about pixels. Please, we are humans.
I just want to make sure I want to make sure it's brought up because it's stuff like ninja looting, like loot drama or other shit. I kind of want to point out, like, it's like I will let things get settled the best I can, but if it gets to a point where it's completely fucking ridiculous, I might take inspiration from Soda Poppin' with humiliating punishments.
I feel like we shouldn't have to get to that point because I feel like all of us understand that.
I know.
Like,
like I said, if we bring in Wave 3, then that's stuff to consider as well, is because some people may be completely new to this server entirely, and we don't know anything about them and stuff like that. I want to keep sure make sure that's a thing. I already have ideas, essentially, of like, oh, if you ninja loot, I am going to request either you, like, I don't care if they've equipped it since, if you've ninja looted something without, like, letting people roll for it and they, like, equipped it, I'm gonna tell them, okay, I want you to delete that. I don't care if you've equipped it. I don't care if you don't have your, like, oh, wow, that's your main hand sword and you don't have another that you just happen to sell. Tough shit. You're either deleting it or you're getting out.
Well, the only time I can think of like an actual possibility for ninja looting would be like, because I'm pretty sure all of us are respectful human beings with doing dungeon content.
I know.
The only time that it typically happens is in a raid spot. And look, picks up Tommy. Look at this boy. He's not gonna do that shit. Tommy gives things. He is the most kind boy. He'll be more than happy to give you your loot if you want for it.
I feel like we have the opposite problem where people don't grab loot when they're supposed to.
Yes, that's actually, no, that's a good point. Please fucking roll on stuff that you need. I swear to God, if I see somebody, like, please.
Cat?
Yeah, so for new people, okay, yeah. So for new people who are doing dungeons, a lot of us have done these dungeons before, at the very least know how every class works to a certain degree. All of us will be willing. I'm very capable of like telling like, oh hey, this is probably a good sword for you, or this is a good chest piece for you, or something of that regard. If you don't know if it's good for you, then ask. I don't think anyone's gonna yell at you for it.
But yeah, I want to talk about like, I just want to bring up this whole thing. I'm gonna basically say when it comes to drama, it's not gonna really come up. I don't think it will. If it's like some petty shit with like some new people that join the server after this point, like someone just starts shit and it's just like very petty. For example, I already have, like I said, I have punishments in mind. Like in a case like that, I would probably have them walk the deep run tram. And then have them settle with that. Have them think. But yeah, I don't know.
As funny as it is, I don't think we need to worry about it as much. I think majority of us are gonna be civil about it. And if we're not, I mean,
my main point is fuck around, find out, basically.
I think enough of us are adult enough that I think enough of us are civil about it that if someone is
Quappy, you're going call
Quappy, you're cutting in. You're cutting out like
you're
crazy.
You're returning to your people.
I'm sorry?
Yeah,
okay, you're
good.
Crazy.
You're good now. It sounds like you're fine. You're cutting out.
It was really
I lagging?
Bad. It was really bad.
Yeah, I was driving through tractor land. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, go what we were saying.
No, I feel like drama is just if it's something that's gonna be. I think we're all adult enough that eventually, if someone's frustrating someone else, it's just gonna kind of get naturally dealt with, or someone's gonna get phased out. It's something I don't really think we need to talk about now. I think it's just something we bring up when the time comes. Just, I don't take pleasure in the idea of thinking about drama.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, no. I have ideas in mind for if things get that bad, but it's like, I feel like we're all fucking adults here. Like, I don't think that's gonna be a problem. Yeah, but we don't know what other people might do, so that's why I'm bringing it up now.
I have to deal with that shit that is on fucking Horde, so please, like, for love of God, and like, no.
Anyone that I'm trying to get into the game, I'm gonna let them know what the deal is from the get-go. But I think that's also something to consider. Is like, I know we've talked about like leveling partners and stuff. I feel like if you're gonna try and get someone into the game, at least have an idea of if you're able to help them, if they can play solo. Because that's kind of what I'm going in with. Is if someone needs help. Or if I'm going to get someone into the game, I'm going to help them level from the get-go, which it might not be very many people, but I had one guy who I was talking to who I figured I could probably level a character with him. He's probably going to be the only person I ask, but, the only person I'm going to ask that I'm like, he might actually join, so we'll see. But
I also... Sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead. I'm rambling.
I just wanted... Drama was more or less a footnote. I didn't think it was really necessary, but I wanted to at least bring it up. Like, I have plans for if things get out of hand, but they shouldn't. And please don't let them.
I wasn't planning on it. Again, as I said before, me and Tommy
don't
deal
fuck
with
around, or you will find out. Trust me.
We already deal with it.
Me personally, I wanted to go and just hit the big shiny delete button on the guild just for fun.
Oh God.
We deal.
You
with
paid for it.
Side.
Yeah, I imagine.
I also wanted to bring up, like, yeah, when it comes to raiding too, we're gonna have to figure out, like, I think a loot council is gonna be kind of important, because it's like the three things I could think of. What is it?
No, GB, I'm gonna stop you right there. Loot council, I would not recommend in terms of a looting system, in terms of doing raiding. Huge zero recommendation. That is, the only people who use loot council typically correctly are like hardcore guilds. There is a system that you can be able to use that we use for our raiding, if we're talking raiding systems for loot, which is called SRing. Like it's much. Yeah, soft reserving is much better in terms of just like being more easier to use with
I don't like the reserve system personally, because it's like you will probably reserve. You could just reserve something and then it just not drop for weeks on end, and just get nothing.
But like loot council is just so much easily more fuckable.
But the thing is, it's a loot council between our group. I don't think it's a problem. That's exactly what Ira says. Loot council is for friends, and I think that could be okay in a case like.
Personally, I think both sides are like reasonable. That being said, I do think loot council might be concerned if we end up getting more people that. Because I think that's going to be a problem where we get people in and then we're going to have to count for gear for them. And are we going to give a shit? I would hope we give a shit, but who's to say we are?
There's going to be a bias there. That's why I say if we're dealing with random people and we're going to have to pug with other people that are like pugs and stuff, loot council is not a good decision.
And then also just, I know the loot reserve thing is like, oh yeah, you're going to be waiting weeks on end for it. I feel like you could say the same thing about loot council as well.
I suppose.
Yeah, because the drops are still the drops are still the same regardless.
I feel also, what was another one was like, well, we can't do GDKP. That's not gonna happen, and that's toxic as fuck anyways. DKP, I guess, is an option. Like the normal
personally
DKP.
think we should all. I think we should all duel for it. Honestly.
I'll mind control you off the Booty Bay boat. I win. GG's.
Just
GB, I'm gonna be honest. Like the most popular
Ira has a point.
Like, way of doing yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, this is gonna be mainly with 20 to 40% rating, but I am going to warn you, GB, that the most popular route of doing loot is SRs. That is the most popular. I prefer it the most because I like gambling. I love fake gambling. Look at my shirt that says I like fake gambling, and like you can. The thing is though, with the situation, you can. There are some HRs you can be able to make as people who run the guild to be able to not have to worry about SRing something. That's why we do our runs with the guild we have now, because we're in the loot role for rolling for trinkets for BWO, like the good stuff, like the HR stuff. That's why like again, it's more of like a thing of like we just need to. Yeah, no, loot council can be a lot of people see as a red flag when you're going into a run.
Interesting.
I
thought it would be okay.
Yeah,
it's like as long as you have someone covering each like melee, range, tank, healing, and like in a decent position, I thought it would be okay. But
yeah,
I think loot council would loot council. I think is something to consider if we fill an entire group. Because then I think it's something that can be nuanced and be...
Like for TBC, I think that would be fine if we had the full...
Yeah, so for like but obviously that's a little ways away. But I was gonna say TBC would probably be more applicable for that. Oh yeah, we'd want a full group. I feel for that sort of thing because yeah, I don't want people to. I don't want us to get people who are maybe it might be doing raids like the raids that we're doing just for like a couple of drops and then they drop out because like oh I'm not gonna be getting the gear I want anyway because fucking the. Because I mean, I know the stereotypes with the balanced druid girlfriend that's gonna get the gear in the back because they you know.
Is this a shot, my friend?
No, this is not a shot. This is something I've definitely read on the Reddit before.
I know.
Anyway, I'm gonna mute real quick.
Also, you mentioned like Doom Howl. I was like PvP hardcore, kind of stuff. I don't know how well that would have gone if we did like a hardcore raid.
I am not maining on it. I am not rolling on a PvP hardcore server. I'm gonna be real with you, Chief.
I didn't remember if Doom Howl was the PvP server. I thought it was the PvP server. I wasn't sure.
No, the PvP server is Night Slayer. That's the US PvP non-hardcore server.
I almost had us roll on that just for the like added sake of like, hey, we're gonna go to raid, but now like we have like potential hordes to deal with, so we have to actually plan around like, all right, where are the griefers at gonna be? Like, let's figure it out. Let's be sneaky. Let's scout the area out and shit. That's not really a thing here. Everyone just kind of runs in. But also, on the bright side, no ganking. So, like, you know, there's a pro and a con to every situation.
I'm into world PvP, but not for a hardcore server. Fuck that.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
I will say though, if they ever add war mode, I feel like that might be something that might be a compromise.
I'm trying to think of if there's anything else I can really bring up before we get to anybody's questions and concerns and stuff. I definitely think it should be kind of like noted, like Quappy, I think you'd be a good position in like a backup, like I think in a sense you're kind of my right-hand man in this guild at this point. Considering.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I put a fucking insane amount of hours into this game when I thought I was gonna put in like fucking. Well, I thought I was gonna level 1 character, and look at me now, I have 11.
You have the knowledge checks. You help people out. Like I don't know. It's just you seem like a good fit there, and I like think of other cases. Like I know Soul's got like a new version of the Google Docky or whatever.
What now?
I'm like the Horde ambassador in the corner, just like with Tommy.
You and Tommy have been pretty good about helping like loot decisions and getting people on the right track.
Yes, you have. I don't think I would have gotten as invested into this game if you guys hadn't helped me out initially.
So it's like there's definitely like things to bring up there. That's more like I guess shout outs than anything. Because we don't really have ranks.
I'm flattered, thank you.
It's not really ranks. We don't have ranks in this guild that I could think of, really.
I've promoted some people, but I don't even know if those promotions do anything. It's been so long since I made them, I do not remember what they did.
So I'd say it's just Q&A for everybody involved to see like where everyone's sitting, where everyone's feeling, all that stuff. If anyone's concerns. Oh, Tide had to dip, I just realized. Okay. I see.
I don't know if it's too early to be considering this, but did we want to talk about raids, like raid roles or anything, or is that something we worry about later?
I'd say we could probably, because I know it's wrapping up, and a lot of I think a lot of the people that are like newer have been kind of trickling out. I know Grugels is about to head out soon as well. But I guess that could be more for the people that are like more familiar and like higher level in that sense, because we'd probably be the ones talking about that anyways. So I guess at this point, Grugels, do you have any questions or concerns?
I guess not. I don't know. I don't really have any questions.
You're just vibing.
That's also what I'm doing, you know, hanging out in the bar with Cat's Siamese cat over here, you know.
I'm jealous.
GB guild leaders alt. What do you mean by this?
Oh no, we're talking about guild banks, and I was saying that like you can't really have a guild bank in there, so like you have to have an alt that typically has all the guild stuff in terms of carrying resources.
Yeah,
because that's not until PBC. Yeah, I looked into that because when I first when I was making the guild initially, I wanted to see if there's anything I could. I was looking into like what is it called? What I could do, like for the guild when I first made it, and I'm like, is there really no guild storage? And nope, it's not until PBC.
But yeah, what's up?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Yeah, we're talking about guild banks and stuff. Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate. Yeah, if you we're still I'm still gonna make sure to try and do alliance stuff when we can, me and Tommy and stuff. But just please let us know if you decide to make a character on Dream Scythe, horde wise, and we'll be more than happy to send you an invite to our guild.
I won't lie, I was kind of like, oh, you guys have the horde? I'm like, oh, that must be a PvP thing. And I was like, that would be interesting. And then I realized you were also Dream Scythe with horde. And I'm like, part of me, it's like, damn it.
It's still entirely different experience, to be honest, in terms of leveling, because you have different zones that you have near the start, and
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have a character. I have an undead character on the PvP server that I am still looking for someone who would be willing to do that as an ult alongside me, because I want to do PvP. I really want to do PvP.
To be fair, Ira, even the horde leveling isn't really easier, in my opinion. It's just horde leveling is barons.
It's more concentrated. It's more concentrated than alliances.
I had a lot of fun killing people in and what was the zone right next to the barons? That's PvP. I forget what it is.
Oh.
Yeah, Gurgle's head out.
I was wondering what she said. I feel bad.
No, she said bye.
Okay. Oh, hey,
Gurgle's been on stream,
so give that roll.
Loof, what are you talking about? Horde leveling is easier. You have Rend. You're high.
You know, sometimes I wish I was. That is a fair point, though. I forgot about that. I kind of forgot Rend existed for a hot minute. I haven't played Horde in a while.
I know Ira's also new, but I know Ira also knows a lot more about the game compared to a lot of other people in Wave 2, so I think Ira's a good add-on.
Yeah, I think Ira will be fine.
When we're talking, like... I don't know, you're talking about, like, raid rolls, and that's, like, a good point. I know... Mask off, I know everything.
Honestly, I might look into that tonight when I get home, because the only other thing I had planned tonight is I bought a copy of Minecraft for the Xbox 360, and I was gonna play it with Raven, but
if you wanna make, I was gonna say, Kawabi, if you wanna make a horde tune, I will be happy to invite you to our guild, and
I'll consider it. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be an alt thing, but I would like if we can't get a guild run of raids, I might jump in for that if I can spare the time for it, which I probably can.
You're perfectly welcome. We're more than happy to help you out.
I'm just trying to think.
Is there anything you guys are needing, especially for raid spots?
Not really. You don't worry about being a tank. We've got a lot of warriors, and we've got a lot of
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna try. I was thinking if I wanted to go something safe, I'd just play a druid tank because that's what I'm used to. But
well, you could go melee DPS druid we take off specs. Our guild sisters and people that we are more than happy to bring people who are playing fringe specs so they can be able to enjoy it and play the game and enjoy it. So you play whatever you want, man.
Yeah, because I'm thinking either go druid if I'm like thinking like a comfort pick for raiding, or I'm thinking of a shaman because I want to try shaman.
Tommy will be more than happy to help you with Shaman if you want to pick that up.
Dude, Shaman looks like it's right on my alley. Micromanaging, I love that shit.
Shaman is fun.
Sold.
Do you like critting 3 times in a row and then dying?
Oh yeah, the melee.
That sounds great.
The melee DPS is with once you get on Wind Fury, that shit's like crack. Like
What? Usually shamans end up healing, right? That's usually what they end up going down.
You could go.
True,
you could go enhancement.
You can also do enhancement. As it stands right now, elemental is like it's definitely a spec, but it's nowhere near as good as enhancement is at the moment.
Right.
Now Cat's like, fuck.
I was definitely looking at restoration or whatever the spec is called. I kind of forget.
Restoration. That's it.
Okay, it is restoration. I'm smart, but I was probably gonna go with restoration because I do like playing. I found myself, especially in WoW, I found that I enjoy doing tank or healer a lot more than DPS.
Then yeah, like resto shamans are 100% viable. Like that's like that.
Everybody begs for a resto shaman in their raid because of Wind Fury and their like healing.
Yeah,
abilities.
no, Tommy gets the easiest fucking raid spots of his life. Like he could raid even more if he wanted to.
I'm sitting here thinking about. I keep thinking about the eventual Death Knight, and I'm like, I'm trying to remember if they. I don't know if in Classic they have the 1 per server rule because that's gonna really fuck me over. I think if that's the thing, unless they removed that for this. I don't know if they did.
What do you mean by that?
Because there was a rule when Death Knights were introduced in Wrath where you could only have 1 per realm.
Oh, they're probably gonna reinforce that because it's
they can't have a Horde Alliance one.
It's also it's a botting thing for the like so people don't make a fuck ton of those and are able to just
make it
like use them as bots.
Make it 1 per faction.
I can hear the copium.
Okay, well, again, at that point, we're probably going to be solidified on what side we're playing on. So then you'll know to either make it like a Horde or Alliance one, depending on what side we are the most focused on. Which, like, I don't even have to explain my bias.
I am a little worried if we go Horde because then it's like your decision of having to cut down people in your raid already, and then you'd have us joining in TBC would massively make the raiding really hard for your guild.
We can just make. To be fair, we can just talk to them and just make multiple raid teams. That's a thing we can just do.
True too.
Like we could just. I'm sure they'd be more than happy with us to work together since we're partner guilds to be able to like work on just making multiple raid teams. It wouldn't be super hard, because they also use like time availability things as well to be able to see when people are available for raids, and so we could just that would just work out in itself and just make it to the raid teams.
Interesting. I'll have to that's because that's my only concern with horde raiding is if I'm actually gonna be able to fucking be available for them because I still do rating on Final Fantasy 14. I do that every weekend.
What time on the weekend?
And then I also got work. I start every Sunday from 10 to usually 12 is when we end on that. But every other Saturday we do 10 to usually 1 in the morning.
That's perfect because like we always our raid times are always during the evenings and they're on the weekends Friday and Saturday and sometimes Sunday. They're always in the evenings around like 6 or like it's around like it's like 7 or 8 realm time.
I'll have to look into what that time is for me then.
It's right now. It's 6 p.m. realm time. That's where it would be around for like that's our typical raid time. So.
Yeah, because I mean for Fridays I'm working. That is just a straight up I'm working those times probably. And then Saturdays I could probably get in every once in a while because sometimes I just don't raid on Saturdays. In fact, I honestly have been thinking about cutting off my Saturday raids just in general because people can't make it as much anymore. Now I know this is kind of derailing. We did talk about raid lead stuff. Given that I have like raid lead experience from Final Fantasy 14, I know it's not exactly like a one-to-one copy, but if I learn the fights and all that, I could probably raid lead. I have on a like personal level, I have the capability to do that.
Probably
just not
put
the
that
knowledge,
on you
but the
with Chaos
knowledge.
is like backup or something.
We already have established raid leads in terms of like people who are helping with like kind of maintaining it, because honestly, like it's better to have like people in like important roles like tanks raid lead, because they're able to call out their mechanics, because the mechanics are actively happening to the most part to the tanks. And yeah, no, that's what I was gonna I appreciate the initiative though, and we're just it helps to have less you don't want to have too many cooks in the kitchen, if you know what I mean.
Well,
I gotcha.
If we stick Alliance, that's something to consider too, because it's like I could raid lead. Maybe that should be a separate thing from guild lead. I'm not sure how that should work. I think Soda did it just fine, but I think Soda let other people raid lead too. So
I would, the reason why I'm vouching for it and being able to say that is because I have the experience to be able to I believe I have the experience to be able to make the call outs and be able to understand, because I've done the fights over and over again as a tank.
Only thinks it's not a good example for Eddie raiding. I mean, yeah, that's true. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I think I'm death wishing. But yeah, if that's something I'm not able to do, I would probably like pick one of you two or both of you, depending on the situation.
Yeah, we can talk more about that when the point actually comes to getting to raid.
Yeah.
Classic, we've got plenty of room for classes to be as they are. I know TBC, when that comes around, it's going to be a little more limiting, because we're going to have stuff like... I know rogues are going to get kind of shit on, which is what... And warriors kind of just fuck through the... they just kind of fuck through the melee unfriendliness and say, I don't give a fuck, and manage to
it really just
pop
depends.
off.
It really just depends on, like, I'm very excited for TBC because I want to see what it offers, and like we have a lot of it's more of like I know you we're all doing this alliance thing over here. I just put so much time and effort onto my horde character that I don't want to drop I can't drop that. I have way too many connections, and I have way too many like things I've like and like I'm geared to the fucking teeth.
We may not have that, but we do have a lot of hours on our end too. That makes it kind of like oof. Really hard for us to drop. That's kind of the awkward situation we were in. We probably needed to like coordinate when we were picking faction a lot better than we actually did in Wave 1. Because I don't remember if we actually even really... I think we did a vote on it.
I told you guys that I had that me and Tommy had 60s on fucking on Horde. I think we still had those when you guys were getting ready for it.
I think this was before you hit 60, if I recall.
I guess that's true.
I think you guys just said you had characters on Horde already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember. This had to have been before. Yeah, you hit 60, because I'm thinking about it now.
I think it's like, perhaps there was a communication error on our side here at some point. It is what it is. we have dug this hole and we're gonna jump right into it and make it home, you know?
Yeah,
So,
I was gonna chime in. I had no idea that you guys even had Horde characters in the first place. I thought you guys were just Horde bias, and that's all.
I thought we made sure everybody knew everybody's situation.
I had no idea.
Womp womp. Etoble.
And yeah, we'll just have the thing of just be like, yeah, if you want to, we'll keep these characters going. If you want to play your Horde characters, we have the Horde Guild.
Switching to Horde is a really difficult decision for people who have lives, says Ira. All I know is like Cat wanting to try this out was a big reason for me to try it, you know? So otherwise I probably would not have come back to WoW, which I'm pretty glad I did. This has been panning out pretty well.
Oh, I've been loving it.
It's been a really fun experience.
I kind of wish we had more people, but that is the luck of the draw. The amount of people we have is probably a stroke of luck in the first place.
It's been crazy. I thought the alliance side's been pretty fun, but holy shit, has it been crazy dealing with the amount of stuff that you deal when you get into the fucking intricacies of when you're raiding, the fucking drama that comes from that shit, like loot drama. Me and Tommy have been through the fucking ringer in terms of that shit. It's been crazy. Like, it's been fucking wild.
I love how people have been just walking in here and just interacting this whole meeting. Like that mage from earlier, we had someone come in, like that dwarf, and like someone else came through. Now this night elf's just vibing. It's pretty, it's pretty funny. If we were like big streamers, this would be like fucking filled with like a dozen people, like a whole crowd of people or something.
I'm kind of jealous they have the wolf's head home.
But I'm kind of glad we don't have like the bald man situation where they're followed everywhere. I will appreciate that.
Yeah.
Ira says, I'm glad Cat tried WoW, y'all are fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that I've gotten so fucking addicted to this game, honestly, because I figured I wouldn't have as much time for it, and I've taken a fucking like borderline like obsession over it, but not borderline. It's an obsession. I've been very much enjoying it. I made 11 characters. I think it's an obsession.
But it's like, this has been great, and I really want to make sure everybody gets what they want out of this. But I know that's also going to be hard, because some people want some things. Like, I know some people have that alliance bias, some people have that horde bias, and no matter what we decide when come TBC, somebody's going to probably be a little miffed, but it's probably just going to happen.
I have dealt with so much AV and so many gnome mages with the brain count with the brain capacity of a rock.
Bro, I'm surprised, like, you saw AV scars never leave you. I'm surprised the moment really Grugel stepped in here with, like, he came in here with Grugels running around this, like, gnome warlock that you didn't, like a vein didn't burst on your forehead or some shit.
I'm just, I've dealt with so many of those pieces of shit running in, just spamming Arcade Explosion while I'm trying to beat a fucking fat, angry man to death. That I just...
Grugels is just here being wholesome and awesome, and then, like, Chaos is sitting there saying, Gnome!
I'm just... It's just developed so hard, and like, I just like playing a cow. Like, I miss my war stop, man. I have this shitty perception ability that doesn't help anything like 90 to 95% of the time.
Well, I don't know if we have anything else left to really cover at this point.
Well, the only I was gonna say, yeah, it's like, okay, with human though, I don't at least with warrior, I don't have to fucking worry about wearing fucking edgemasters. I'm about to get racist.
Jesus.
No, market explosion.
I thought we all were gonna just watch as the gnome ate shit.
Yeah, why are you guys helping him?
Oh, are they doing the mage quest? Is that where you guys are at?
Yeah.
I did that recently, and I ate shit while I was in there. It's kind of funny.
But yeah, again, I don't really know what else we could do. Oh god. Hero, what the fuck? That's crazy.
Bro.
Yeah. So, from what it seems like stay the course up to 60, try out like Ubers and some of the 20-man raids and see where we go from there until TBC.
Yeah. Because if we can try and do like the high tier raids, it'd be cool. But I don't know. If we'll
running. Sorry.
You definitely need to get some gear from some of the smaller raids first before thinking about even doing something like BWL.
Right.
Yeah, we weren't able to our guild had basically given up on doing BWL until we were able to make the sister partnership to be able to actually start running BWL, and it's been fantastic. We've been having me and Tommy and like our guild, like for most of our guildies have been having a great time enjoying being able to actually clear content. It's been very nice.
I also moved Ira out of frame with all that weird shit going on over there. They have that on stream.
Gotta institute the Tyler 1 RP tax.
Bastard, I was in the middle of a sip of water, you're trying to kill me.
I think
what?
I just noticed an alarm going off, and I've realized we've been at this meeting for over an hour and a half. This is supposed to be an hour at most, which is kind of funny how this shit keeps happening. Don't talk to me about post shows. Good God.
Well, so I guess if you have nothing else to say,
I don't think there's much else to mention. Like,
keep working on characters. If you decide to make a horror tune, hit up me or Tommy. You're more than we're more than happy to pull you into our guild and give you a spot as an alt. That's not a thing that you'd have to. You're required to do, or it's just kind of a thing that we offer on the side if you want to take a walk on the horde side.
All right. I'm not complaining about the extra time though, because I get lonely while I drive. I'm gonna be honest. It's nice having people to talk to while I'm just on the road by myself with my thoughts.
I crank up my music when I'm in my car, or I just fucking have a YouTube video playing.
I usually have a YouTube video playing that I listen to. Yeah.
Do any of y'all?
I like the long form videos.
Any questions or concerns? I know Quappy's kind of talked to me off stream about stuff, so I know he's fine.
Also,
not really.
GB, don't. By the way, when you're doing horny stuff on there, don't hesitate to let me know if there's any like blacksmith stuff that you need. I'd be more than happy to make it for you.
I know. I've been working on blacksmithing as well, so that's why I was like, yeah.
Same for leatherworking.
I caught that shit. Anyways, as long as no one has anything to like add or bring like concerns or anything like that, I think we're good, right?
Are we doing any content today, or was it just the meeting?
We're gonna stream later. I'm honestly might lay down for a little bit. I might.
Okay, I'm gonna log because I have an Oni buff and I want to keep that big sexy buff.
Honestly, I might exit since streams like I don't think this is kind of. We've been going.
I kind of forgot we were streaming, honestly. But if we're gonna do content tonight, I'm down for it. Although I don't know if any of that's gonna involve me, but I will still look at like hypothetical raid charts or something, like raid, what's it called? A raid lineup. Obviously, we don't have to follow it to the T, but I like making charts and I like making that stuff. So
yeah,
I will work on that sort of thing.
I think if I raid, it's not gonna be like I'm not gonna make a big thing. I'll just do like the usual, like, hey, this is the command. It'll just, yeah, I think it's fine. Because Chongo is live, so I think I'll raid Chongo. But yeah, we'll be back later for like our actual stream. This is just kind of like just to keep a record of like our meetings, of what we discussed, and so on and so forth, and all that nonsense. So I think this is a great first meeting. I think we'll probably have another at least by like 60 or something, and we can start like going more in depth on like maybe certain classes we want more of, or like planning for TBC maybe, and seeing what our composition is going to look like for that, because there's stuff with TBC that we'll need to consider, like the shaman tax of TBC, and if that's going to be a thing or not with group or raid-wide heroism. That's going to be a whole fucking discussion. Like, paladins having the right amount of everybody, making sure there's at least a little bit of every class represented in some way.
I'm definitely running a paladin. I'm gonna smite everything. It's gonna be awesome.
You've been so
we'll play
torn
a shaman
on
again if we have to.
You've been so torn between druid or paladin. Is that kind of finally come to a close?
I don't know. I think I'm probably gonna focus paladin because paladin looks fun. I've seen a little bit of how it plays in TBC. It looks like something that'd be right up my alley, and it has enough of those weird like little things about it that I'm like, you know what, that looks fun. I want to play that. But I probably will still play druid on the side regardless.
Okay. We are nearing. We're getting actually close to 2 hours. I think I just get raid and go, and then we'll be back later when Kat and I are conscious.
Yeah, so I slept for all of like 3 hours before the meeting. I'm gonna go like pass the fuck out for a few more hours.
I get that.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, that's the raid message. We'll be back later. Go have fun watching Chongo play Mario Kart World. I know, that's a fucking massive switcheroony there, but yeah.
What do you mean? Mario Kart World is just WoW, but with no levels, no health, no experience, places, a cart.
I mean, there's a world.
Places.
There's a world. That is true.